Welcome to the next module in the basic course in Neurographica, the user level. And today we're going to learn the next express algorithm in Neurographica. That express algorithm is called the big shapes. The first express algorithm we did was environmental line, and this is the second one, big shapes. And today we're going to look at the algorithm, and we're going to figure out how are we going to, we have our usual sequence and algorithm, but today we're going to skip some steps, similar to what we did last time. Today it's going to be in a different sequence to show you how you can use this algorithm in a quick manner to, if you have a limited amount of time, if you're like standing in line somewhere and you need quick results, need to achieve quick results, that's what you can do. So the first step is usually we are going to put the topic. Okay, the first step is topic, the goal. Okay, so my topic for today is going to be harmony in personal, family, and professional life. And what we're going to do is our usual 2-minute take. We're going to take 2 minutes and make a list. It's important to go through the step to make a list, because when we make a list, we bring alive all the neural pathways, or the ideas, all the thoughts that are associated with this topic. And while we're bringing up all the ideas and thoughts, you know what else comes up? The blocks, the inner blocks that are hidden within us, and serve as limitations to our goals. They're hidden really inside, and we're bringing them up. And it's great because by bringing them up, it will be easier for us when drawing to transform them. So I'm going to pause. You make your list. I'm making my list, and I'll see you in 2 minutes. Okay, and I'm done with my list. I even circled out whatever I needed to do. So you do that too. Circle out whatever you need to concentrate more within your list, because you probably have a lot of words. And the next step in our algorithm, according to our regular sequence, the next step is a composition. And that's what we're doing here. Composition. In this case, the composition is the release of tensions, the throw. Okay? And that's what we're going to do now. Now, the name of this picture is express algorithm. It's express algorithm, release of inner tension, or officially it's called lifting inner constraints. Okay, so let's do the release. Okay, the way we do the release is put down the marker. Now we're looking at our list, and we are starting to realize, there's a whole list of things that we want to achieve and we can't achieve it. Why? And that's when we start thinking why. And that's when we start so thinking why and doing the list was a mental way of achieving it, of getting into the world. Now let's try to emotionally get attached to this. And I start thinking, why don't I have it? And how does it make me feel? And I start realizing it makes me feel upset. It makes me feel angry. It makes me feel, hurt. It's important to bring up all these emotions, because when we do the throw, it has to be on an emotional level. So we can, because most of the time, actually all of the time, the blocks are hidden on an emotional level, and we need to bring them up. So putting down my marker, I look at my list, getting upset. I don't have it. Why don't I have it? Why can't I have it? What's going on here? I deserve all of this. Okay, this was my release. Now, what's the next step? The usual next step is we start rounding off. What we're going to do today is a little different. We're going to not round off the conjoining, weaving together, but rather right away we start jumping to step 4.1, figure. Okay, 4.1, figure. What happens here is I look at my picture and I say, you know what? There are figures in here that are, remember, this is express. So we're trying to kind of express, like rushing our mind and our ego and our psyche and our emotions to go to the transformation, to go through the Now, I don't recommend this to do in the conventional method, not at all. I only recommend this to do like when you really do need some express way to figure out how to get it, because this really can be done within like maximum 30 minutes, okay? So I'm looking at my shapes and I'm thinking, what do I want to bring out? So this stands out to me, something I want to bring out. Right away, I start bringing out the shapes, okay? That's what happens. This I want to bring out. What else? I want to bring out the shapes, okay? Do you see what's happening? I'm not rounding off yet. I am just going over and bringing out the shapes that I feel are important to me to bring out, okay? That's what happens, okay? What happened then is I'm going to the next step. So the next step, what we're going to do is we're going to bring coloring, okay? We're still not rounding off fully. See that? We're still leaving the shape. We'll just remember this is express, so we're doing it quickly. We are going to add color to bring out those big shapes that we just kind of brought out. So I'm going to add this color and my pastel highlighters, and I'm going to color in the shape that I just kind of brought out to show you. Remember? Okay. The next shape was this, right? I don't know if I want the same color or different. Okay. Coloring it in. And remember, when you color in, always remember to think, why did I choose that color? What is the association here? Why do I want to color this shape? Which, remember, we don't know what the shape is about. We don't know what it's associated with, but we do know is we chose to color it this color. And we can think about that. I wonder, we can start actually thinking, I wonder what the shape means to me. Maybe it means something on my list. Maybe, right? Maybe it doesn't. But one way or another, start thinking about the colors. Like, what associations do you have with this color? What it means to you? Why did you choose this color? Why do you like it? Right? Because there are different days we have different colors. And now I'm going to do this color. Now, what's happening? We are bringing out, and look, the shapes are already like standing out. And the next step we're going to do is show you, look, yellow, right? This is yellow. Look at this, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful yellow. Now the next step, what we're going to do, we're going to go over the shapes and start rounding them out. We're only rounding out the parts that have to do with the big shapes, okay? We are completely ignoring the other lines that are not a part of the big shape that we just brought out, okay? And this kind of bothers me, so I'm going to take it out and make it a part of this shapes, okay? Remember, this is express, so we're in a rush. We want to quickly go through this, okay? We don't have time to fully round out everything, but we are going to bring out what's important within those three shapes. For example, I have three. Sometimes people have two, and people have four. It depends how elaborate your throw was. The next step I'm going to do, remember what we did here? We added figure, and then we added coloring. right? And the next step I'm going to do is I did step number 3, right? I rounded out only pertaining to the big shape that we brought out, right? Round out, curve out. And now we're going right away to back to 4.1 and add the background lines, okay? Yeah, add the background lines. You can actually, yeah, do the background lines, the field lines also, we can actually even go next to, like, we already went to 4.1, so we can go to even like jump to point number 5, because point number 4.1 and 5, 4.1 is kind of like a part of, like, it has the field lines, but they're not fully field lines because they're more, you know, we add neurographic lines. But point number 5, if you remember the field lines, they're like thicker lines, there are like outlines within our picture. That's important to bring out. They're like, when you look at the map, they're like, strips of like rivers, of like, of, yeah, like, how you see landschaft, it's like landscape, when you see the rivers flowing. So now we're going to add the lines that are going through our picture, okay? Again, remember, this is Express, so we're rushing, so we're going to add the lines. Now, here, what we're going to integrate what we learned from last Express. The lines that we're adding, we're going to integrate within the lines that we did not bring out, but they do exist in our paper, okay? We're kind of going to acknowledge them, okay? Remember, this is our throw. This is what's hidden within us. So we do have to accept whatever it is, even the lines, even, we're not fully bringing them out, but we need to acknowledge them. So that's important, okay? Yeah, so let's add the lines. Okay, so let's start the neural lines. Remember how the neural lines work. Actually, the next algorithm, right? The 4th algorithm in our basic user course, we'll be focusing a lot on the neural lines. So I will be focusing more on the neural lines. But remember, the neural lines are going very slowly. No rushing. Don't rush through the neural lines. I know this is an Express, so you want to rush, but try to go, slowly, because the neural line is your inner energy. It's your most inner, thought. This is who you are, so to say. So don't rush it, and remember to allow it to take you to where you need to go. Remember, I'm trying to create my own inner line, yet I am making sure that I'm going through the lines that are already associated within this, within my throw, remember? Okay, I think I almost took everything. I need to be, this is an Express line, so I'm doing quickly. Now the next step is going to be rounding out, okay? Rounding out fully, okay? If over here it was a quick round out just between the shapes, over here we're gonna have a full round out. And remember what we do when we round out. Breathing in and thinking, what body part do I feel, right? Do you remember the three aspects, right? The thoughts, the emotions, and the body, okay? So I'm breathing in and out, and I'm thinking, what body part did I feel? I felt my chest. I felt my chest. Then I'm going to breathe in and breathe out and see what emotion is coming up for me. Oh boy, the emotion that's coming up for me is like the emotion of like desperation or something like that. Um, Again, just quickly, no need to, this is important to know. No need to attach yourself to those emotions or the body parts. You're just noting it and then moving on. Why is it important? Because while noting it, we are actually transforming. But it's important not to get fully like actually attached, because always remember there's just a passing stage. You know how they say it will pass too. The sages say it will pass too. That's how it works. We have to always remember that this is just a moment in our life, and especially if it's an uncomfortable moment, we have to remember that it will pass. Now, the opposite can happen actually. If it's a happy moment, we can say, hold on to it. We can, whenever we experience something happy, we can close our eyes and try to, on a more inner level, to kind of memorize it and to kind of, like try to see how you can um, kind of like memorize it in your mind, in your emotions. And that's when, you can bring in. So let's continue rounding out and let's start thinking. You can actually look at your, sub goals in your list and like start thinking, what do I think about that? And you can actually start thinking, if you had like this figure and you say, I wonder what this figure is associated with. And I can look at my list and I know now what it's associated with. And I start thinking, um, what am I looking for in this topic? Like, what would I like? And I start talking about, like it's a topic associated with the travel plans that my family is making. And I start thinking, I want them to travel there. I want them to go there, and I want this trip to work out in the best possible way, convenience wise, money wise, everything wise, I think it's such a great idea to kind of, I start thinking, what are the options? How can I achieve something? And what can they do to ensure a good trip? Okay, my family members are going on a trip, not for me. And actually, I just came up with another idea that before that, we're all going on a trip as a family. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I want that also integrated. So, yeah, I think I'm going to add, and you know what? While I'm thinking about it, I will actually add a shape here. That will be my resource for that topic that I was thinking about. Okay. Quickly added it. Okay. And usually in the conventional while you do it later, right? After like you round off, after you bring out the big shape, and after you start archetyping, so 4.2 archetyping. But today, remember, this is express. So I'm like, okay, an idea came to my mind. I'm going to put it on paper. I'm going to round it out, and I'm going to make sure that this idea will come true. And look what I'm doing. I'm actually putting more lines to make sure that this resource that I just brought in, right, it's a family trip next week, so actually 1.5 weeks. Okay, that I wanted to like work out. Look how many lines I'm adding. Remember, the more lines, the better. But again, this is express. So I'm finishing with that quickly and I'm going on. I'm actually almost done. I just so yeah, I think I'm done with all the curving out. Yeah, I am done. Um, it seems like I did it very quickly, and you know what? I promise you, once you start doing it more and more, you will go through it more quickly as well. But remember, like everything else in life, it's not about the time, right? Even though this express we're talking about, it's not always about the time. It's also about the process, right? And this is an important part to remember. It's a process that it's not about the time. It's the fact that when I do this, I have to do it the right way. Again, breathe in, breathe out. Head, I feel my head. I actually feel my brain. This is the funniest thing. I never had that before. This is the funniest thing. I've been doing neurography for 2 years. Never ever did I ever feel a sensation in my head as I drew. This is the most amazing feeling. Um, and now again, breathing in, breathing out, emotions. Like hope. I have hope. Yeah, this is interesting. Now, what I'm going to do next is we are going to finish adding more color, and then we're going to do archetyping, okay? Now we're going to add more color here, coloring, and then we will bring out the archetyping 4.2, okay? Actually, as you know, with coloring, it can always be interchangeable. I just realized that, you know what? I want to do the archetyping first, and then when we add more color, I actually, since this is express, you can go in the sequence that you will feel will aid you the most, okay? So I'm going to bring out, oh, that's so interesting. This shows me a square, and I'm not sure I want to add a square. Now I'm going to add a circle, nice big circle here. And I want to add, it's interesting, there's a triangle here. If I want to add a triangle, I have no idea what this is. What is this? I wonder. Yeah, I know what this is. It's another shape. I'm going to make it into a triangle and bring it out. Okay, quickly I'm doing it. A circle and right, so this is going to be stability. Okay, I want to add some square. Okay, this square is going to be for stability, emotional stability, happiness, joy. I want to stabilize that as much as I can. Now that you brought out the big shapes, remember what the next step is always curving it out, right? And think about, especially with triangles. I mean, we're not discussing much triangles, and it's the next algorithm, the algorithm of composition, the modeling, where the triangles will be playing a big role, where I will be explaining in more details why do we bring in triangles, how we can bring in triangles so we can aid us. Remember, triangle has sharp corners. So we do not bring in triangles in the beginning as we start to draw Neurographica, so as not to attract to us negative energy, because triangle can be negative energy. You have to know how to use not a negative energy, it's an aggressive energy, but you have to learn how to use it. And I think when you begin to start drawing Neurographica, first you have to be comfortable with the fact that you are attracting various types of energy to yourself. And once you do that, that's when you can start um, bringing more triangles and more shapes once you are comfortable with the energy that you attract while drawing, okay? It takes some time. So give yourself that time. Don't rush. Remember, um, life is beautiful. We have so many things we're looking forward to. And that actually was one of the points on my list, today's list. Um, just be happy, just take things as they are and be happy with what it is. It sounds like a philosophical approach, but it's more than that. It's a philosophical approach going together with practical approach. Okay, so every time you do this, Rounding out, remember, breathing in and breathing out, and I feel my chest now, and again, I feel my eyes. Oh wow, this is amazing. My brain, like how the eyes connected to the brain, and this is interesting if I tell you this, how I did a video yesterday, how I explained, it was an introduction, you can find it on my YouTube channel, an introduction to neurographical video, where I actually explain how neurographic is associated with visual kinesthetic, you know, functioning of a human brain, how there's, and it's so funny because now I feel it, I actually feel my brain and I feel my eyes association, like I actually feel it. This is funny. Never had those sensations before. Again, I've been doing it for many years already. Now, adding color to bring out the shapes, okay? And it's going to be interesting now because I have like 3 different colors here, so I'm thinking, what color do I actually want to bring out? I'll bring out the blue. Well, I will integrate some dark blue as well, the navy color. Interesting. Remember, this is express. I'm really rushing to color it in, right? So, you know what? You are welcome to leave some part of it white. Do you know why? Because you're an express. You're rushing. You're trying to do something quickly. However, this is what I tell all my students, because I also do supervision, and I explain that when I do the supervision of express. When you bring me the picture now, when I see your picture, I don't want to see a quick picture. I want you to learn how to do it quickly, but once you, after you are done, then look at your picture and think, aesthetics is important. It's important for a picture to be nice looking also. So definitely add the color as needed to make it a beautiful picture. Remember, with Neurographica, when you look at the picture, it's supposed to give you, a feeling of, wow, this is amazing how I created this beauty. That's important, okay? So keep that in mind, okay? And like I said, I'm going to bring out some blue shapes, blue color in here too. Okay. So then you like this. Yeah. So you can integrate more. It's good to integrate together the highlighters and the pencils. Okay. I'm so used to using pencils that give me a subtle color where I can add more shade. And that's why I'm so used to the coloring with highlighters. I kind of like I'm trying to think like, what do I do here? Yeah, I'm so comfortable coloring with pencils. It adds me more. I like how I can vary the shade with the pencil. But honestly, with highlighter, like I said, for a quick purpose, it's amazing. Okay. The triangle, and the triangle is the shape. Okay. Maybe I didn't curve out part of it. I'm going to go over and curve it out now. It's important. So that happens, right? When you're coloring in, you start noticing that there's a part over here that you didn't fully color in, and you curve out, and you go back and you curve out. That's a pretty great thing about Neurographica. You can fix it at any moment. It's not like, a set in stone kind of thing where you can't, at any moment, any picture, any of your previous pictures or any of your future pictures, adding a single line in the picture will change the whole course of how the picture will look to you. I mean, that's true for any picture, right? For any like art picture, but it's especially true with Neurographica, because in Neurographica, it's like changing the meaning of the picture, right? You can add a circle shape and it will only change the whole meaning of your picture. And you start understanding that, oh boy, that's how it works, right? Yeah, that's my yellow triangle. Okay. I'm going to show this circle to be purple. Okay. And the square, I like the color green. It gives me hope, it gives me a renewal, it gives me, like the feeling that everything is going to be okay. Everything will work out. Everything has a way of working out, and that's what the green color means. Remember, whenever you choose a color, remember why do you think that color? What is your association with that color? Why, why that color? What brings you out to think about that color? Okay, yeah, maybe that's green. I realize I'm going to bring out the yellow in the middle, which is the coloring from the triangle. So you can do. The coloring is an interesting part of neographical. You can actually, coloring is the emotional energy, and you can see how the emotional energy, emotions can go through, for certain colors, certain emotion will go through in a different way. This is like an interesting way to view how emotions work, right? Interesting. Color, interesting how it's coming out in all my pictures. It's very interesting. I'm adding the yellow. It brings out the different, looking at this, you see how, the colors change the way your picture looks. It's very interesting. Again, this is express. Honestly, what I would do is I would have more lines, more neurographic lines, because I feel like I want more, um, I need more lines, like I need more shapes on the ends, like the background, I would like to get more lines, but because this is express, and I'm accepting the fact this is express, I'm going to rush and do it quickly, but make sure, even when you do it quickly, you're doing it, keeping in mind the ecology of the picture, the fact that the picture actually has a meaning to you. So you want to make sure to draw it in a way where it will be nice looking to you, okay? Excited. I'm going to go now and take, add different colors over here because I feel like I need more blue here. It's a little too light blue for me. Adding a darker highlighter so it gives it a different um, view. Look how it looks differently now, right? And that's what it is, right? You can experiment with color and see how it will add a depth to your picture. You have different color, different hue, different shade. Pencil help me bring out more, yeah, what are they? Different hue, different, you know, different ideas, and like what I can do here. You know, I understand that we have more through here. Yeah. Nice. Blue. Now you can leave some of your part of your picture white, like I said, because it's okay to do that. I mean, it's a part of the white is a part of color. White is actually one of the highest colors because in it exists all the shades and all the color. But it's your choice. Like I feel like I'm gonna add a little more blue over here. I want to add some more shade. Again, when it comes to coloring, just enjoy yourself, remember? No need for those thoughts and for those, like, you can do the thoughts, like I told you, ask, like, why do you do this color? Allow yourself to enjoy as well, Maybe like, add some yellow. And no matter what, I enjoy the pencils more than the highlighters. Although in the beginning of Neographic, I honestly just exclusively would use highlighters because they were so comfortable for me at the point. Now, once I discovered pencils and the magic of pencils, how, with pencils you can vary the hue and, have different colors. I started enjoying having pencils more. Yeah. I added in some shade of purple. Yes. And this is the cool thing with pencils. You can blend colors. You can see how it looks more interesting. I enjoy doing pencils more, honestly. I feel like it's more fun when you mix colors, you create new colors, you create different hues, create different depths. So it's a journey. I must tell you that for me, it wasn't like that right away. Like I said, I use highlighters a lot in the beginning. It was a journey. It definitely became like that. But look what happened. Now that I'm adding more purple, look how the composition changes itself, right? Like the purple becomes more prevailing in this part of the picture. And that's the interesting part, that's where you can start thinking like, I wonder why it becomes. And I remember that this was a resource for the family trip that we're planning to take. And I realized, oh, this is so interesting how it all ties in, right? Very interesting, very cool. Very cool, yeah. Adding more colors, more pictures. Yeah, I feel like adding some more purple here. Now here I want to add more yellow. I want to bring in more yellow in this part of the picture. So as you can see, my white is diminishing quite quickly. And again, that is something that you comfortable doing, you can do it. I enjoy coloring a lot of things. I know some students who might ask me, can I leave some stuff white? And I tell them at least 60% of your picture should be colored. And then yes, you can leave some white, okay? But coloring is an important part of Neographic. I have a student who asked me, do I need to color? Can I leave it black and white? And I explained to her that coloring is how you express emotions, so it's important to learn how to express emotions, and that's a part of your transformation. It's how you're transforming through Neographica by adding color and by seeing how that will work out. Okay, you see how nicely the hue is when you add purple? Okay, purple actually blends in very nicely with the blue. Yeah. Very cool. Complements each other so much nicely. I'm enjoying this part, and that's how it's supposed to be. Remember, this part of the process you're supposed to enjoy more, right? Because you're just allowing yourself to create something, and that's where the drive is. You know, that's where you are connected with, you know, with the universe, with God, however you want to refer to that power that kind of powers us. You know, and that's what it is. Now I'm done with my picture. I'm going to add those big environmental lines that we talked about. Okay, look at this. We're almost done, right? Now I'm going to have the graphical affixing in the field line. I mean, the graphical affixing I just did actually, and field line. Okay. The field lines here are going to be, I'm going to put some field lines using a black marker. Usually this should make it purple. I want to make it purple. I'm going to add some field lines here. See if it works. No. I'm going to take a dark purple. Yeah, let me take a dark purple highlighter and start adding the lines. Think about like landscaping, right? Like where would you want to add the lines? I'm thinking I want to bring out this. It's like creating a part of the composition, you know, it's like creating this like part in your picture where you want to see like, well, like pages. It's like pages in the book, you know? So it's very interesting to notice how they actually already exist. You can just color it. Look what happens. Here, look how beautiful it is. I mean, those I'm calling them landscape lines, you know, landscape lines. Look how much depth there. They're like, what they do is actually, they kind of like give you like an understanding of where your picture is going. It's like giving me like, you know, like final like direction for the energy flow. There's nothing final, but you know what I mean? Like it gives you like an idea of how your energy is directed within the picture, and I'm truly enjoying this part. Want another part over here? Let's see this purple circle. It's a family vacation, and it's a great way to recharge and like thinking about what I want and what I'm going. Yeah, beautiful lines I made. I'm just like living them. I want one more over here. So we'll probably go together with this. Yeah, so amazing. I mean, this is a part of what Neurographica is all about. Because you start bringing in, you know, you start bringing in hues and you start bringing in like forces that are like beyond us. And I mean, in a good possible way, you know, like the artistic part, like you start thinking like, how does it work? Like, where am I going? And you start like, just realizing I want to go like this, you know. I mean, I can just make another picture just alone from the environmental lines, and that's actually a part of what our next algorithm is all about. Okay, I am done. I'm truly enjoying this environmental lines, and we're done with this algorithm. I remember we added 5 field lines and graphical affixing with it, right? By adding little lines, thinking like, how else do you want to graphical affixing? Okay. Just realized I want to add one more line here. Connect this square right here. Like it was hanging in the air. And remember, you don't want anything hanging in the air when it comes to Neurographica because it's all energy. And energy has to flow. Remember, rule number one when it comes to physics. Remember, Neurographica is not just about art or psychology. It's also science, you know. A lot of scientific facts are in here. We're going to connect it here. You see what happened? This is the graphical fixing. I'm looking at my picture and thinking, what else needs to be added in order for this picture to become fully neurographical? Now, at Express, this is Express. Let's say you're rushing, you'll probably be stopping at a certain point. But remember to go back and finish for the picture to have a full effect, you know, because remember, even if you're drawing for something quick to happen at that specific moment, you know, when things happen, it doesn't just happen in one moment. It has effect on other points in our life, you know, and other parts in our life. So that's important to notice. Okay, you see how I added this line? It looks different, like the shade just brought out more for me, and I like that. Okay, I want to add more lines to the triangle. Okay, see how I said I felt like there was not enough neural lines for me, and that's how this is important. Okay. We're almost done. And I am hoping you enjoy this. I love this algorithm. I mean, the basic algorithm is my favorite. And the Express is just kind of like brings out a different way to do it, and it's amazing. And yeah, let's do this. I love adding neural lines. I mean, to me, it's like just creating new pathways, you know, like it's as if I exited the house and all of a sudden I have two ways to go somewhere where I need to go. And it's amazing. It's so much fun, you know. I'm going to bring out more of a circle, everyone. To do that, I'm going to take maybe a darker blue color and bring out the circle more because the circle is blue. So I'm bringing out more blue in the circle. Let's see if it helps. Color is light. Yeah, it's not doing much. So I'm going to pick a different color and bring it all out. Yeah, see now what happened? So what happened? It's called like fixing the, you know, the last step, like before we're finishing, before I start thinking about my topic 2.0, which is always the last step, right? Before you finish, you have to always like look at what happened and think, what have I achieved today, right? I mean, that's a great exercise that I personally practice, and I suggest to all my students to practice. What have I achieved today? So that's something that you're doing now, right? This is like what I'm doing is like just kind of putting the finishing touches on my picture and thinking, what have I achieved today? And I realize that I'm achieving this, you know, I'm achieving the, yeah, ta-da! I'm doing some balloon here, excellent. I'm doing some balloon, the triangle, even better, I like it. Look what happens, I'm having more and more fun. Okay, all good things sometimes must come to an end, right? Not always. Okay, so this is my Express picture. I implore you to use it, to start practicing it, start enjoying it, and I'm hoping to see at least one picture for the supervision. Like I said, right? We can't stop now. Now I want to add more color here. This is a never-ending process. I mean, the worst part is to draw Neurographic at night. For those of you who've done it, they know what I'm talking about. So you cannot go to sleep afterwards. I mean, I have so many students writing to me. I started doing it at like 8 or 9, and I couldn't put down my pencil until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, that's right, magic of Neurographica, right? And that's the interesting part. Okay, I'm actually going to put down the pencil now, right? Okay, wishing you happy drawing. send me your picture for supervision. Algorithm number 2, express algorithm called big shapes, okay? This algorithm is called big shapes. The previous algorithm was called express. The previous express algorithm was called environmental lines, okay? Okay, wishing you happy testing.